A black-haired spider lady with 2 huge watermelons wielding a giant yo-yo chainsaw? Count me in. This is the lovely Helentine Spelmin from Punishing Grey Raven. She's got a pretty face, and her 3D model is stunning, elegant, precise, and efficient. Beautiful facial structure, crisp hair strands, sleek mechanisms skillfully woven into the designs, microscopic touches, elegant lace patterns taking full advantage of the clever transparent cutout technique. And she's a free character, by the way. For this quality, in this economy? Anyways, let's take a look. Her noble attire uses a lot of lace detail, and lace detail on transparent texture is always a great combination, because the detail can be high thanks to the texture, but the mesh density can be kept relatively low. Helentine's model utilizes this to the max. Not only is this much less of a headache on the modeling side, because imagine if you instead modeled every strand of this veil rather than just creating the outline of it, but it will also be much easier to rig and saves a lot of poly budget. Any thin object can be detailed and texture maxed, at which point it's only limited by the size of the texture and the skill of the artist. The same technique is also used for the skirt ruffles, as well as around her arms and thigh, and the end result is quite sophisticated. I especially love the black spiderweb lace detail on the cleavage window, and another feature of this technique is that it can cast accurate shadows based on the texture rather than the topology. All of this is further multiplied by the intricate normal mapping, which adds depth to the outer veil, as well as the circular segments rounding them out. And it also accentuates that slick fabric detail around her neck and all over the main outfit. These parts where the lace is directly over the skin are interesting because the painted shadows make it look like it's floating when in reality it's really just connected to the skin topology. The edges are cut directly between the separation of the skin and the lace so that there's no blurring and the separation is completely clean. This introduces the use of a triangle fan in that area, and people love to assume that topology like this won't have good deforms, but as you can see even on this MMD rig, it's just fine. Lots of modelers unnecessarily CC themselves with deform myths that other people parrot. At the end of the day, just give your topology a deform test, and if it works, it works. No need to overcomplicate it more than that. But moving on, let's talk about her gigantic chainsaw. This thing is beyond absurd, but that's what makes it special. Imagine this lovely looking lady all dressed up, then just out of nowhere she just whips out a chainsaw and starts going to town. She reminds me of that one classic Arknights unit with how the weapon contrasts the outfit. Now, one thing I didn't expect was how versatile this weapon is. The idea of the blades being connected to a string opens up so many possibilities. Granted, we had to break almost every law of physics to have this be used in a practical way, but that's besides the point. She uses this thing as a blunt force weapon, a vaulting tool, a pole. She becomes literally Spider-Man with it. Uses it as a yo-yo, a mace, a scooter, heck, even as a lawnmower, and the list goes on. This versatility has given her one of the most unique attack animation kits I've ever seen. The yo-yo-like attacks are especially fun, walking the dog, and I just love the creativity in all of these over-the-top attack sequences. And I also like all the little clever ways they weave the spider effects into her stuff, just like how she sprays it all over your screen here. And this whole sequence is just wowza. Here's a special one. She takes a step in her ridiculously high heel, just chucks the yo-yo overhead. So here's that lawnmower one that you get to enjoy from the low angle. But here's my favorite shot in her entire kit. Oh, like look at that. They never miss with these concepts. And she's got some really fun battle entrance and exit animations as well. Look at that face, man. Lady Spelmin, please. Now, one interesting thing about PGR models is that they don't do the floating iris thing, and yet they don't do a full sphere either. They just have the front circle of the eye. And as you can see, they'll just shift it down, left, right, up, wherever. The advantage of this is that it's a more accurate, realistic iris placement, and it works really well with their models because what they do is have a flatter face plane, and so it's easy to implement these and it looks good with it. It's really easy to do this effect yourself too with proportional editing, and you just move the iris wherever you want it to go. Oh, and I also love her alternate coating. Yes, another summer skin, so she's ditching the lace and she went with something a little more fun, a little more colorful, but it's also kind of freaky. You can see a little of her inner construct workings through her chest and her thigh. And man, I am so jealous of little bro right now. I like the blue and purple accents on this design, especially around her eyes, as well as her hair. 1 or 2 colored accent strands go a long way. PGR doesn't go too hard on the details, but nevertheless we get to see her relatively low poly toes. Again, that see-through effect so that you can see her central nervous system, like it kind of makes me shudder. It's it is a very nice touch though, and of course for the leg bone as well. And the octopus floaty legs have that like see-through material. It's very cute. Oh my goodness. I find myself liking the originals more often than not, but this one definitely hits different. It changes the vibe of the animations too, like the splash SFX makes it very fun. Oh, that's splashing ASMR. Peek, 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 peek. All right, calm down 2 a.m. You are a professional 3D modeling channel. So here's some smaller individual things I've noticed. For those of you that are wondering, can you also make individual latches connected to the base? Because usually they're disconnected, but with hers, it's all fully connected. So it does work. Just goes to show that they are both viable options. And that's looking pretty good. She has those naturally downward facing lashes, and her hair texture is also using the, you gradient out the bottom tips of it so that it kind of looks more transparent and it goes along with the skin color. Here's a close look at some of her mechanical details. I always love seeing their different joints that they put together. I think that's the only exposed mechanical joint that she has. And I don't know if this like green thing is some kind of toxin that she uses on her enemies. I noticed her veil like was going kind of green in the trailer videos. And you might be wondering how to avoid clipping into the body when it comes to these. And one simple approach is to just have them weighted evenly along with the body parts that are underneath it, and for the most part it doesn't really cause an issue. They all move together, and as long as they have sufficient topology as well, it should be able to flex along with the body. I noticed though that the irises are deeper for the MMD model, and one thing about doing that is it kind of gives this effect where wherever you view the face from, it's kind of like the eyes are following you. Oh, hey there, little guy. Look at this dude. Overall, I really enjoyed Helentine's unique design and especially her weapon. Like, this is definitely one of the weapons that you'll remember. And I love mold breaker characters like this, especially in how far-fetched her concept is, but it works because they have the top-notch modeling and animation to actually pull it off. I'll see you in the next video. Have yourselves a good night.